17, I will certainly bless you. I will multiply your descendants beyond number. Like the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore, your descendants will conquer the cities of their enemies. And through your descendants, all the nations of the earth will be blessed, all because you have obeyed me. So you've got this prophecy for David saying one is going to be raised up in a throne that will last forever. You have another one, this promise to Abraham that says that every nation of the world is going to be blessed by your descendants. But it is thousands of years later when Mary would sing her song to the Lord and make a declaration that these promises were being fulfilled. After she goes and visits her cousin Elizabeth and she gets this sort of confirmation of what God's doing in her, she sings this song, and as she finishes the song with this line, Luke 1:55, for he made this promise to our ancestors, to Abraham and his children forever. So thousands of years at least, God had made these promises and just saying, one is coming. Somebody is coming. He's going to have a throne that lasts forever. All the nations are going to be blessed through him. And so he had made these promises, and we see this for thousands of years. And even then, there's this gap. We see this space between the Old Testament and the New Testament where it looks like one book just ends and we pick up in the next one, but really there's a space and time there of 400 years. 400 years of no prophets, no angelic visitations, and it appears to just be silence for God. For hundreds of years, prophets had been saying, look, things are bad, but God's sending a Messiah. Things look bad, but God is sending a king. Things look bad, but God is going to do all of these things for you. And then suddenly there's this period of silence. There hasn't been a prophet, and it looked like God had forgotten everything, like he'd forgotten all of his promises. But the first thing that this genealogy teaches us, and in a sense, what Christmas teaches us, is that we cannot judge God by our calendars and by our measurements of time. The first thing we're taught here is that God may appear to be very slow, but he never forgets his promises. He may seem to be working very slowly or seem to be forgetting his promises, but when his promises come true, and hear me, they will come true, they always go beyond what you'll even ask or what you even imagined. God seems to forget, but he never forgets his promises. And he comes through in ways that we can't even imagine, beyond what we can imagine, and that's the meaning. That's why we say on a day like Christmas, and here's the thing, Christmas can be bittersweet for a lot of people because in sort of a way it's like this period that you get through and then you get to January and there's this sort of despair. And a lot of times, a lot of us are fighting in the fact that especially at Christmas, that there's a lot of promises that God seems to have made that we don't see coming true.